My favorite town, I have to go with, we moved to Molten Borough. I love Molten Borough. Nice, small, quiet town, nice low taxes. We've got conservation land right behind me. The lake is beautiful here. I'm very, very biased towards Molten Borough. However, I have very strong feelings towards Meredith as well. It's where Jess and I first landed when we landed in the Lakes region. We got married there. We met all of our friends there as we got our lives started in the Lakes region, and we still tend to recreate there quite a bit. We go back to the restaurants, we hang out there, we walk town docks. Our boat is going to be stored in Meredith, so it's a toss-up between Molten Borough and Meredith. I have to go with Molten Borough as the place to live because I live there, but Meredith holds a very strong place in my heart. Fatherhood. I wish I could get deep and philosophical on this one, but I'm not gonna. My favorite thing about being a dad, obviously having a little girl, it is watching Georgia kind of develop, watching her little personality pop up, seeing the different things that she's learning on what seems like a weekly or a daily basis, watching her physically develop from crawling to walking and wanting her to go back to crawling, and watching her learn her different words, etc. But most of all, I think Jess agrees, it gives me someone to hang out with that I can goof around with. When Jess gets sick of me, I can hang out with Georgia and not bother Jess as much. And it gives someone for Goose and I to go for walks with. So I'd say the development's probably the favorite, but having a new friend is definitely up there. Most embarrassing thing. It takes a lot for me to be embarrassed. That's not true. I can embarrass myself quite often. I can't really think of a specific embarrassing moment. I can think of a whole bunch of little moments of mistaking where I was on the lake and being wrong about that. Getting to a property and forgetting the keys. I left the keys at the office. And so already running late, run out of the door, but ended up we ended up about a half hour to 45 minutes late on that property. That's probably the most embarrassing because it just made me feel unprofessional and I was pretty disappointed in myself. But overall, there's not a lot to be embarrassed about in life. Stuff happens, you move on, people are people, and we all do what we can. I feel like this is a question for someone else to tell me what it was like as a child. I barely remember last week. I don't know really what I was like as a kid. I can tell you I was relatively active, pretty hyper, running around outside a lot, riding bikes. I grew up in Norwood, Mass. So we grew up in a nice little neighborhood. Best friend lived across the street. We had a big hill. We'd ride our big wheels down all the time, ride around the neighborhood, walk down to another friend's house, all of that, build a jump in the street. We were constantly outside. In the summer, we had a pool in our backyard, so I was in the pool a lot. The answer that everyone on the team thinks I was gonna give, which I still am gonna give, is I was really, really cute. I was a very cute baby. Sorry. No shame in it. I was cute. The other part of it is I was referred to as Eddie Haskell quite a bit. So I don't know if I had a little streak in me, but I was Eddie Haskell. Sorry. So this question is not even fair. How am I supposed to say who my favorite clients are? It's like asking a parent who their favorite kid is. We all know in my family, I was the favorite kid. My parents won't admit it, but I am. We know in my other family, Goose is my favorite kid. Georgia knows it, she'll know it forever. And Goose knows it. But favorite clients, obviously I've had a few clients that were friends already and family already. My dad was a client, cousin's a client, friends are clients. So that doesn't count. They were already part of my life coming in as clients, which is one of my favorite things to do, is help out the people that I already know and love. But there are those clients that you had no idea who they were ahead of time, and you work with them as a client and they truly become friends. And they stay a part of your life long after a transaction and things like that. And those have to be some of my favorite clients because they're now friends. I don't want to point anybody out. Ellen, my first client, first sale I ever had. Ironically, Bree was the listing agent prior to me being a part of Lake Life Realty. Ellen holds a very special place in my heart. She's a sweetheart of a lady, has always been very good to me. So she's up there with my favorite clients. A couple others that I worked with over a long period of time. This is going to be on Facebook, so I know I have to say Jim Plutnicki and Steph convinced me to buy the boat that I bought. Has become a good friend. Worked with a long time there. The Marusas, Leo Dwyer over in Sandwich. Leo came off of me just randomly calling him to see if he wanted to sell his house, and he's been a repeat client and a good friend to the team and a good friend to me for a few years now. But obviously people like my dad and things like that, family, that's one. But those are a few of my favorite clients. I don't mean to hurt anyone's feeling or leave anyone out. You're all my favorite. You're all friends. Those are a couple of the few that have stuck around. Favorite memory on the job. There's a couple that stick out. Watching Bree leaf blow a roof randomly so that she could get photos in. One of the days that when we were back at the garden center, Steph, Bree, and I, and the phone rang and we got a call for this waterfront listing, and we all kind of jumped up and we're like, okay, here we go. What do we have? And the conversation went a lot along the lines of there were alarm systems and a lot of priceless items and things like that, and where all of a sudden the price point is just racking up in our head of, oh my, wow, this is gonna be crazy. And we got there and it was a nice house, but it was your average lake house, and we were all just kind of like, oh, okay, not sure why we just got all excited, but that drive over there was pretty interesting of what are we actually walking into. Other favorite memories, it has to be, I'm gonna go with my dad buying his house up here. My dad had decided to move up here after Jess and I were up here. He was living in New Hampshire already, and I might have just messed the microphone up. Living up here already and decided to buy a house, and working with him, it wasn't the smoothest transaction. I'm glad it was my dad, and he was a little bit easier, but it wasn't the smoothest transaction. But he got a great place, and he's now here, and he's now close to me, and I know I can take care of him, and he can take care of me. That's probably my favorite memory, is helping him get a place where he's comfortable and loves where he lives, and we're both happy. This question's tough because I'll give you the best parts about being a real estate agent that people always say when they're getting into the industry. The go-to answer is always, well, you can make your own schedule. You can't. You don't make your own schedule. You work when your clients need you. You work weekends, you work nights, you work during the day if you're truly running a business. You can do it part-time. You can't do this industry part-time if you're doing it correctly. It's a full-time industry. And you can sell one house and not do a lot of work and make a whole bunch of money. You can't. Just like any business, there's a lot of expenses. If you're gonna make this a career like all of us here are doing, it's beyond one house. You're selling multiple houses. You're making this a career. And at the end of the day, it's just like any business. There's the commission check is not what we take home. So my true and honest favorite part about being a real estate agent trends on those lines, but it's the accountability to myself. I'm an independent contractor. As hard as I work dictates how how successful I actually am. The buck stops here. It's one of those things where if I don't show up to work every day, then I'm not going to be successful. So that's probably my favorite part. It's that self-accountability, that self-management, and the little bit of a feeling of kind of running your own life there.